It's just all right, just a bit slow today, so it's just thinking what should we do. I was just looking at the charts basically. I'm going to start off on the daily though. Okay, we'll get started. So looking at the daily time frame, what can we see? So what I can see is the supply zone in our premium, and it's the premium of the weekly swing. So if we look at the weekly, we'll notice that we have a swing high here, swing low here, and we're in the premium of the weekly swing here. So looking at the daily, so our supply is in the premium of the weekly swing. Price has reached a bit of a range over here, which could be a Wyckoff distribution, and it's given a bearish daily change of character, indicating supply could potentially be in control. So that's our daily bearish change of character. So we're likely to see the overall bearish trend continue from here. At some point we were thinking, okay, we've broken this high, could we be in a bullish leg? But it doesn't seem to be the case, as it was just a retracement. So this was internal structure of the overall high time frame down move, which makes sense. The retracement is very even compared with the other retracements. So it would have been silly to think, okay, that was our extreme high. This is the extreme high. And now, as you can see, there is a lot of liquidity above these highs. Remember, liquidity isn't an area where price needs to go to. It just adds an added confirmation for price to potentially take out. So demand zones are failing, as you could see. So this is a demand zone. Didn't even see a daily reaction off of it. It was a clear impulse move through the daily reaction area. So we clearly closed below this daily area. So as we can tell, the demand zones are failing. So could this be a flip? Potentially. So price could have flipped from bullish over here back to bearish when this demand failed. So we could mark that up as a flip. So I like to mark up my change of character here because it's a bit more recent, right? So that's going to be my change of character. So yeah, so I'm thinking overall bearish, right? So the monthly low that we could potentially be targeting and potentially taking out these lows is this low over here, right? So heading back over to daily, we could be potentially entering somewhere in here, or along this wick, which lines up with this low, which lines up with this high, which lines up with this high. We could be entering around these kinds of areas and looking for price to take out that monthly low as a potential overall target. Although we've had this daily break of structure, it doesn't mean much because at the end of the day, we are back in supply control. So I'm just going to leave that clear. So usually I would mark that up, but it's not clear enough. So we had that break of structure, change of character, and we're back on the other side now in the supply. Now looking at the 4 hour, what can we see? So I'm just going to refine these areas a little bit. So because of the fractal nature of the market, we can see something very similar. So what I am seeing is on the 4 hour, this potential area of supply, which if we are potentially but unlikely to long the market, we could be targeting there. Another potential area of supply is around here. And in terms of demand, which is what we're looking to allow to fail, we could be looking at this sort of leg here. Reason being, price kind of was in a demand chain from there. So demands, and then this is demands, and we had that impulsive move breaking structure, came back down. There was probably some demand in there on a lower time frame. So yeah, so potentially if we could see high get taken out, then maybe that's a 4-hour change of character, but nothing too clear just yet. All timeframes are aligned in terms of demand zones failing, and those demand zones are just catalysts for pullbacks. So we call those CPBs, catalysts for pullbacks. Again, we've had that 4-hour change of character over here, and we've had that 4-hour break of structure. Nice. So change of character, break of structure, and a flip. Loads of confirmations there. Remember, looking at the trading plan, we're looking for flip, change of character, break of structure. All three have been observed. Now, we don't execute off of the 4-hour time frame. We like to look towards the 15-minute. So what I'm kind of seeing is this Asian session range over here. We're currently in between it. My thoughts are that we could potentially break this low over here for the downside sometime during this London session. And then we could look for potential buyers up into this area of supply and potentially, but unlikely, for the Asian session range. So I would be targeting, if I was to take a buy from below the Asian session range, I would be targeting that level over there. Maybe slightly lower just to fill the imbalance to ensure that we will hit our take profit. But we do have to keep in mind that although we're on the 15-minute, if we just zoom out just a little bit, there's a huge level of liquidity here. Therefore, market could be looking to come back into this area over here, which is actually the area we call the impulse move off of last time on Friday, I believe. So yeah, that's potentially the move for today. So we do have to mark out this liquidity just to make things clear. So price could be looking to break that, but overall we do have quite a strong supply chain. So we have this supply formed over here, which formed this area of supply. And this supply over here formed this area of supply. And this supply over here formed this area of supply. This supply over here formed just about this area of supply. And now that's kind of the area we're looking at. So if we drop just one time frame just to see that area a bit clearer, essentially our next area of supply, but we do like to mark out the whole area and then look to see where the best points of entry are. So it could actually be that that supply is already played off and we're looking at this area, but we're not too sure at the moment. We have to kind of wait for market to play out the way it wants to play out, because potentially we could be saying that this supply formed that supply. So yeah, supply chain is quite clear. Good things to learn because you get to follow the market in more depth. Just tidying it up a little bit. Okay. So potential trades. So back to 15-minute. So potential trades. So there's two options. So we currently have the beginning of a 15-minute change of character. Now, the reason why I say beginning and not confidently say 15-minute change of character is because we haven't had a body closure above these wicks. So I like to see body closures above the wicks. So once we see that, then we can essentially look to play the trade through as a change of character. We are reacting off of an area of demand right there. Now, could it be that price could form that change of character, come back down to this 15-minute, tap us into some sort of lower time frame entry here, and then go up and fill that supply zone potentially. Let's just drop a time frame and see if that's possible. Now, I do clearly see a level of imbalance. So if I turn on my fair value gap indicator, look at this. That's my fair value gap. Yeah, so these are yet to be filled fair value gaps, and so is this. So this would be my play for Euro US dollar for today. If price was to come up here to this area and then move back down, I'd target this fair value gap. If price was to move, if price was to cause this change of character first, then move back down here, then I'll look to target this area, right? Hopefully that's pretty self-explanatory. Now let's just have an overlook of the US dollar index just to get a general view of the market. So in terms of 4 hour, I don't tend to look at the daily on US dollar index because price moves so fast. So the daily kind of gets taken out anyways. So you could argue we're in some supply on the daily anyways, daily change of character, retesting that zone. So potentially bullish for the day if this supply holds. So yeah, potentially bullish if supply holds. Dropping down to the 4 hour, we have seen price kind of close within that zone. Potential entries I'm kind of refining to this area. Reason being, because that's our liquidity sweep wick. So as you can see, we swept liquidity over here. So that's where we're looking to sweep price as well. So price should come back here, sweep this liquidity formed above these highs before making its down move. So I'm generally quite bearish on US dollar index for today, unless price tells me otherwise by breaking through this sort of wick. Now looking at the 15-minute, you can see it. This is why I don't kind of look at US dollar index in too much depth, because you do sometimes go out of depth on US dollar index. So that is our supply. So again, refined even further, then back to the 4 hour. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Short term though, looking for today, short term, I'm looking for price to drop in US dollar index. So that means that I can look for bullish price action on Euro US dollar. So now that I have that correlation confirmation, as you can see, that change of character is forming. We have 4 minutes left of this candle, which we are still going to be on call for, just to see how it closes. Now, ideally, if it closes above this leg as well, then I am just looking to directly enter once we get back to maybe our 3-minute zone over here. Now, the kind of risk to reward we'd be looking at would be along the lines of three pips targets over here. So it would be like a 5.4 risk to reward minimum. But should price just head up and tap straight into this, then we'll be looking to take sells. And from that 15-minute area over here, I would want to see confirmations as always. So that 15-minute area is here. So yeah, we could potentially be looking to tap into there. Yeah, so that's our supply. Price could potentially be looking to tap into that and just move off from there and grab this liquidity above these highs. So that's kind of what I'm looking to play out for today. I hope that is quite insightful for today, and I hope many of you have a good day in the markets. If you're heading over to our live trading floor now to trade alongside me, we'll be opening that in about 2 minutes after this call ends. So I'll see you guys there. Do you have any questions?
No, sweet.
Perfect. Okay, so that concludes the call. I'll see you guys in the trading.